Oh, hi everyone. This is Dean from Team Thailand Trace Together. Let me start our presentation now. So we'll move straight right to our problem statement. So Sam from who is working in the Thailand field with OMF is asking how can we use technology and data to support urban and rural outreach in efforts in the field of North Thailand? So our motivation for the team is yada. In Hebrew, it means to know intimately. So do we know our mission field? And through this project, we want to help empower Sam and his team to not just know about the villages and communities they are working in, but to know them intimately. So the idea is to give them a broader and richer set of data. So next slide. So for a missionary, what does it mean to really know a community or village well? Is it knowing about the village? Is it knowing about the village chief? Is it knowing about the some of the local festivals? Is it knowing about the traditions and the practices? Is it knowing about the food of the community? So through our project, we hope to provide a richness of data, and through the richness of data, the missionaries can know the communities intimately and make better decisions on how to channel their resources. So I'll pass the time to Joseph to talk more about the solution that attempts to solve this challenge. Thank you.
Thanks, Dean. So for data ingestion, the main criterion we have for data collection is simplicity. This is so that it can be used by the local community and village leaders. We have designed 3 forms for data collection. More forms can be added as necessary. Basically, the 3 forms there are the village information form, activities form, and persons of peace form. The village form will be just to record the basic information about the village, like name of the village, name of the village head, population, etc. And the activity forms will be a record of the activities that are carried out by the person or group doing the activity, example, prayer walk or other outreach activities. And finally, the persons of peace form. This is when the person carrying out the activity meets a person of peace and records the particulars of that person and the interaction that they had. This can be followed with an entry into the event scheduler using Google Calendar for further future contact. Thanks for illustrating relationships and other details are in progress. Next, we will demonstrate the use of the activities form by a short-term mission tripper. The short-term mission tripper, they just arrived at the village of Maytam. After I have completed my prayer walk, I will record what I observe as the needs of the village for further follow-up. My teammate Solomon will show the outcome of this data collection.
Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, so in order to show what we have, right, that we are actually taking all this data and we want to actually help the people that use it to visualize what all this data can do for them and how it can help them in terms of planning their trips and etc. So we have 2 different use cases that I'll be going through for our application. One is that I am a new missionary going to the field and I want to know more about the people that I'm going to live with. And the other one will be that I'm discipling someone already in the village and I want to know the progress of it and how it is like. So moving to the platform itself, we'll start with the activities. So here itself, you can see that I want to know just about Maytam itself. It's already being focused. I can also select the rest of the villagers to see what other activities they are doing. So in this case, if we are going to Maytam, right, we focus down, I can see on the bottom right, they do more of prayer walks or visitation. So maybe for this trip itself, I will prepare a better pair of boots or buy a new pair of shoes just for this trip. And also going down, we have a map here plotting where Maytam village actually is. And scrolling out, we can see it's near Chiang Rai. So I know how to roughly plan my trip, where to go from to the Maytam village itself. Next, for the person of peace. So these are the people we want to do our discipleships with. So there's a list of person of people that we have met before. And it also includes of where they are at, which village they are placed at. So in the use case just now you saw, if I want to, for example, take Zijian as the example, I am discipling Zijian, it will tell me, oh, he's in Maytam village, and then how to go there as well. And then further down in the bottom, we can also see how the progress it is. So it could be a timeline, or here we have a bar chart of how he progressed from, I think he has an interest of 5 going up towards 8 through a different conversation that we have met. Yeah, so these are the things we want to keep track in order to know that how we have actually helped the person of peace, or what actually happened that caused it to go down or go up. And from here on, we will know how to better approach or disciple that person itself. And at the bottom, you can see that's the schedule, just now like Joseph mentioned. So if I have a new calendar input, I can have it showing over there my different schedules of where I should be going and when. Yeah. Now I'll pass the time to Zijian, which will cover up the rest of the presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm this.
Zijian, you're muted.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm unmuted now. Yeah. Now I'm sorry. After being discipled by Solomon, I can wrap up our team's presentation. So during the course of these 2 days, I think we had a very interesting time exploring the data sets that we can actually collect through the field. And these are some of the challenges that we experienced during the process of this project. One of it is collecting geo-data easily. I think we are using Google Forms for ease of use for on the ground. And I think one of the difficulties is that Google Forms does not collect geo-data that well. We are also using Google Sheets as sort of the database to collect and combine all the data that we see in the visualizations. So that is also a bit complicated to handle using purely Google Sheets. And I think some of the concerns mentioned by the mentors and by the Indigenous community was things like security and how do we map the relationships between people we meet on the ground. So I think some of the next steps the team was talking about as we move the project forward is to actually rebuild the forms to automate certain types of data collection. For example, the data, the location data, and moving this data from Google Sheets into a database which facilitates better data meshing, better data analytics to be done. And some of the important features that Sam has mentioned is that the missionaries on the ground use Google Maps a lot to drop pins to identify locations and places. So this maybe a glimpse of what it might look like in the future. Let me show you a slide. Okay, so this is from all the data on Google Maps, we have actually imported them from the Google Forms, all the data collected from the Google Forms. We have actually imported all of this into a Google Map, right? And you can see that we have the communities data, we have the persons of peace data, we have activities data. So if I want to see from a mission organization point of view, right, where are the communities that we are having activities, where are the communities we are involved in? We just click on this tab, we can see on the map represented, these are all the different communities that we are involved with. How about the persons of peace? These are the people who are key personnel that that has influence in a particular village or a community that the mission organization or missionary has contact with. So you can see that we also have plotted that on the map, and the degree of color basically indicates, you know, how maybe how discipled they are or how open they are to spiritual conversations. Last but not least, we also can easily see on the map, right, all the different activities that are happening in the whole region of Thailand, not only the region that the missionary is active in, but maybe if we get the different mission organizations there to share the data, we are able to map up the whole Christian activity work that is being done in a particular area. So you can imagine this would be very useful for collaboration and for understanding and knowing the people that we want to reach in a more intimate way. So with that, we have come to the end of our presentation. We can open the time for some Q&A.
Yeah, thanks so much, Team Thailand Trace Together. The feedback is amazing work condensing so much info in such a short time. All right, the question is, how do you ensure that the data is kept current? For example, if the men or women of peace relocate.
Yeah, so this is that's a good question. I think one of the things that there was a very interesting point of discussion with Sam was that, can we make the forms easy enough so that they can train local leaders or local persons of peace to use the form regularly in their work? For example, maybe the chief's birthday is happening, right? And then the persons of peace or contact there can update that data. So if the persons of peace have been trained to use the form, so not only the missionaries are the ones using the form, they can update their status as they move around or change locations as well.
Thank you so much for the answer. Another question that popped up is, how will you edit the information that needs to be changed if access to the Google Sheet is limited?
So access of the Google Sheet is, at least for now, limited to OMF or the organization that is owning this information. I would imagine that different organizations in Thailand that has worked in the ground as well would have their access to their own Google Sheets. So Google Sheets is quite easy to update. And of course, it takes, in the mission field, is a lot about communication with the people that you are reaching out to or the people that you are working with. And so Google Sheet is something that I think everybody knows how to update, how to update the values or change the data. So currently, that's the only feedback, is to go back to the missionary or the people in charge to be able to, to alter the data.
Thanks for your answer. Another question is, how does the solution address privacy and security concerns in the storage of data?
So currently we are leveraging on Google. So right, Google is one of the biggest IT providers. So it's like Google Drive. You can set access per Google Sheet or form in your Google Drive, such that when the person who is allowed to use it must be logged into Google. And if you are not allowed to see the admin pages, you are just not given access to that folder. So we hope to make it as simple as possible for mission organizations to use existing tools that they are already using, and they are already using to secure their data. Of course, if this project goes bigger and we are starting to collect more data, especially in creative access countries, we might have to look at different ways of securing communications and even anonymizing some of the data that's been collected.